सुना, उन्होंने साफ बोला कि it is high time that BRICS nations should come together and reduce the dependency on countries like America or institutions which are dominated by Western world. Because these institutions never help the South, global South. And they have their own political agenda, they have their own way of working, and most of their decision makers are controlled by the Western countries or Western powers. So they will never look into what is good for global South. So it is important that this proposal should be taken by BRICS countries very seriously. This will improve the overall global financial stability and help in economic development of BRICS nation. And in today's context, it becomes very, very important. This is an extremely crucial step because unless there is a control on the currency, it is very important for any government to plan their economic policies. For example, if Government of India is trying to create a ecosystem for international trade, and just because there is a fluctuation in currency, the whole system goes out of control. And this fluctuation is not because of economic reason, but because of political reason. So political risk goes up very high. And this actually derails the overall development agenda of BRICS nation. So this is extremely crucial, I will say, the proposal by RBI of India, and we have to look at very, very seriously so that we create an alternate system which is governed by the collective wisdom of BRICS and for the benefit of BRICS nation. It is extremely important that a BRICS currency system should be coordinated so that when BRICS countries are planning international trade among themselves, it will help in stabilizing the cost of trade, it will also reduce the political risk, and any country which is planning either on a barter basis or on a long-term basis, any long-term agreement, actually it will not become a political risk because today we know how the current currency is going to behave. And this currency system will not have any political significance of what is happening in the Western world. It means the BRICS nation and the global South should benefit because there will be a technically a stable currency, or if there is a movement in currency, it will be logical. And that will be absorbed by the market, that will be appreciated by the investor, and global South will get a better investment and there will be a better coordination because today the political risk or unwanted interference of the Western world in the domestic policies via currency exchange will be minimized. So I think this is a very important development and it will boost international trade as well. Today the global South, if you look into the global powers are able to bring sanctions or try to destabilize any country because they have a control on the financial system. Whether it is World Bank, IMF or even SWIFT. And what they are trying to do is they are trying to use the sanctions as a weapon now. So dollar is actually becoming a weapon instead of a currency. Now it is very important that we all should have a freedom from this hegemony of the Western powers. Otherwise, what is happening when America is trying to strangulate any growth either in India, China, Iran, Russia or whichever BRICS member countries, they simply say that we will not allow you to function under a dollar ecosystem. And this is extremely dangerous, because unless we come to the agreement with what America says, either we toe their line or we face the problem. This is extremely bad in a democratic country, because every country will decide what is good for their own economic growth or country's development. But now Europe or America says, do what we are saying. I think this is highly illogical, extremely, I will say that, interfering in any national policy. So I think we have to guard ourselves, and one way to guard ourselves is move away from dollar dominant ecosystem. And once we do it, there will be better policy planning, there will be independence, and there will not be a, I will say that, mental pressure on policy planners that how America will behave, because now we are insulated or away from their day-to-day interferences. I think this is extremely important, and every country should start thinking in that line. The repeated threat by Trump that unless you follow what I am saying, I will bring sanctions or I will impose tariff, I think this is a blatant interference in any country's sovereignty, or I will say that national policy planning which they are trying to do for their own national interest. It means Trump is trying to interfere in everything what is happening in the world market. This is not good for any development or any growth plan for any country. So I think what we have to look at is, as BRICS nation, because today we are almost 40-45% of the world trade, it is extremely important that we should understand that in order to have a peaceful growth, in order to have a predictable growth in the ecosystem, we have to reduce as much as possible dependency on those institutions or currencies where political risk is very, very high. And I think this approach, what is suggested, especially from India's point of view, that BRICS should coordinate their currencies outside the domain of dollar, is a very, very timely and required purpose. I think Trump knows the day BRICS will start moving away from dollar, America's hegemony on the world fairs will go down drastically. And when there is an alternate system available, what they are trying to do is by bringing sanctions. We have seen the examples of Iran, we have seen in Venezuela, we have seen sanctions on sometimes on India, tariffs on India, sanctions on Russia. Sometimes they are trying to create some problems for China or South Africa, even sometimes threatening Brazil. I think all these things we are able to listen to, or we are listening to Trump just because we are dependent on dollar. The way we move away from dollar, or we officially say that as a national policy, all BRICS members systematically move away from dollar, even if Trump imposes 100% tariff, I think it will be good for the BRICS nation. Ultimately, my proposal is that even European Union will also try to move away from Trump, because now Trump is interfering in European Union affairs also. So BRICS, in collaboration or in coordination with the European Union, if we create a global ecosystem, I think it will be a much more stable, much more predictable, much more logical, and we will not be, I will say that, hijacked by any one country or currency which America is trying to do. So it's a very timely, considering the way global geopolitics are changing. I think it is very, very important that we should have an alternate. Yes, Trump will continue to threaten because they don't want to lose control. But it is in our interest. There will be some pain initially, but adoption of alternate currencies will be much faster. More problem Trump will create, more alternate system will emerge. And I think it is just a pain. Even if Trump imposes 100% tariff, we should accept this as a paining process or initial pain for a long-term better future for everyone. Whenever Trump has threatened India that they will impose more tariff on India, government of India ignored it and continued to do what is good for India. Similarly, other BRICS members will do it, and if we coordinate, I think it will be better and faster, and threat of Trump will have a minimum impact.
Download Metro TV Extend sekarang.